The day my dad died, my brother showed up at the funeral, driving a brand new car he bought with Dad's credit card. He didn't even cry. But when the lawyer read the will and said, "To my son Lucas, I leave this old, rusty toolbox," my brother laughed out loud in front of everyone. He told me I was the family embarrassment, but what he didn't know is that that rust was worth more than his entire life. I took care of my dad for 3 years. I remember the sharp smell of medicine in his room and the sound of his breathing getting weaker every day. While I was changing diapers and bathing him, my brother Robert was traveling through Europe, posting party photos and ignoring my calls. My dad was always a man of few words, a humble mechanic. He loved that workshop, but in his final months, he seemed worried. He would squeeze my hand tight and stare at the old cabinet where he kept his tools. I thought it was just the medication talking. Then came the reading of the will. The room was cold. Robert was impatient, checking his expensive watch. The lawyer began. "To Robert, I leave the house, both cars, and the savings account." Robert smiled, victorious. He looked at me with that look of contempt I'd known since we were kids. Then came my part. "To Lucas, my loyal son, I leave my old toolbox. It is all that remains." Robert exploded in cruel laughter. He pointed his finger in my face and said, "See? The old man knew you're only good for fixing what's broken. You're a failure, Lucas. Take your trash and get out of my new house." I left there crying, clutching that grease-stained box, feeling like the most useless person in the world. The rain was pouring down, and I didn't even have a place to go. I went to a cheap motel that night. Rage was consuming me. In a fit of anger, I threw the toolbox onto the floor with all my strength. It hit the tiles, and the wooden false bottom popped open. I froze. There were no tools inside. There was a thick envelope and an old diary. I opened the diary. My dad's shaky handwriting read, "Lucas, I know Robert is going to take the house. I let him have it because he has dangerous gambling debts I hid from you to protect you. If he doesn't pay up, they would kill him." My heart was pounding. I kept reading. "But son, the house and the cars are mortgaged to the hilt. What Robert inherited were my debts. What is in this envelope, however, is the life insurance policy I've been secretly paying into for 40 years, and it is solely in your name." I opened the envelope. It was a check. A check large enough to buy 3 houses just like that one. Robert lost the house to the bank 6 months later. He came to me asking for help, and I did help him, but on one condition, that he never judge anyone by appearances again. That day I learned, sometimes what looks like trash is where the real treasure is hidden. And loyalty always pays off. If you also believe the world turns, hit that like button and subscribe. The next story is going to shock you even more.